Today we're going to talk about the different glands that we find in the integumentary system. And so I like to separate them into the two categories when we think of sweat, right? When I'm talking about sweat with my friends who are not scientists, right? We think about the watery part and we talk about the oily part, right? Because people will say like, oh, I have oilier sweat or waterier sweat. And there is something to be said about that, in that the types of gland we have, how active our glands are, everything like that. So for our oily glands, we have what are called sebaceous glands, and they produce sebum, which is that oil. And then for the watery, we have sudoriferous glands. Okay, and these two are going to be functioning separate but together, right? So we produce the oil, we produce the water, right? The water is going to help mostly with thermoregulation, whereas the oily is going to do things like our moisture and like a protective layer, all that sort of thing. Okay, each of these glands is going to have some of their own special features, right? So for the sebaceous, we have kind of two variations. We have glands and we have follicles. Okay. The follicles are going to go directly to the skin. And then the glands are going to go into our hair follicles. So these are the ones that are going to primarily be what makes your hair oily and you're annoyed and you want to, look cute in the morning and it doesn't do what you want it to do, that sort of thing. For the sudoriferous glands, the more watery glands, we have two variations of them. We have the eccrine glands, right? Remember, they're using merocrine secretion, otherwise known as exocytosis. And then we have apocrine glands, which are going to be using, again, apocrine secretion. So the apical surface breaks off. And together, they're still both going to be doing the more watery part of it. We're going to see many, many more eccrine glands in our body, right? Because we're trying to get rid of all of that liquid, not liquid, but all of that heat. And we can do it best through secreting a little bit of fluid throughout the day. But once one hits puberty, that's when you start producing apocrine sweat glands, right? So you become sweatier. And so things like pheromones and other substances start to get into those that little apical surface that gets broken off. We start having some additional things that get secreted that can help with reproduction, finding a mate, and all that sort of thing. So anyway,